So I have been saying for a very long time, probably at least 3 years, that we were going to get to a place in the middle market production scene where it was going to get harder and harder to find guys to cover your gigs. I just had a follower hit me up and tell me that in his area, he can't seem to get anyone that wants to train above stagehand level. Like they're okay coming out, making a quick buck, loading gear in and out of the club, helping set up gear, but they have no desire to get to the next level of actually operating the gear, learning the systems, becoming a system tech, that sort of thing. And I warned about this several years ago. The guys that are coming out of the sound schools, because that seems to be all the rage these days. When I got into business, years and years ago, decades ago, if you wanted to be in the production business, you needed to go work for a production company and learn the business hands-on. Now you have schools in place that teach a lot of that stuff, at least lay some form of foundation to kind of get you up and running with a production company. The problem is a lot of those guys are getting out there in the field, and within the first 3 to 5 years, they're realizing this is a very hard road to hoe. And they're better served by maybe taking advantage of their degree they got in cybersecurity while they were in college, because many of these courses are now 4-year, bachelor's degrees in recorded sciences and live audio and that sort of thing. So a lot of these guys are taking a minor in, computer programming, cyber security, any number of other things, business, that's always a good one. So they're not staying in the field, and that's what my follower was telling me, is they're kind of burning out quick, and they're not hanging around to become the next generation of sound engineers. And I'm telling you, even in my market, I see this regularly. I see guys that are gung-ho, wanting to become part of the scene, and they feel like if you don't give them absolute control over the system within the first 2 or 3 gigs, they're bored and they're not interested in coming back. I've dealt with an enormous amount of that. When really, when I got in this, I never touched a soundboard till after I was working with people for at least a year. Maybe a little bit more. Of course, those were analog days and things were a bit more complicated. But nowadays, they think because they can run Pro Tools, then they can immediately step behind your $100,000 rig or $500,000 rig and run it like it's their own. And that's just not the case. You have to earn your way up the ladder. And herein lies probably another problem. Most guys want to start at the top, not the bottom.